Hello, everyone. Pam DuBois with Dream Real Estate TV. As you know, we've been doing a lot in promoting local people in the area and community that's helping so much. And today I have with me Becca Menza, who's doing some awesome stuff for the community and with other restaurants. And we're so happy to have her with us today. She's going to share what's going on with her in the community. And just, you're amazing. And God bless you. And please share what you're doing and how we can help.
Thank you so much. So I've taken to doing my ASL. This is ASL for applause when you're Zooming, and it's also sparkle fingers. So as you said, you're highlighting things for people doing great things in the community. I was like, yes, that's what we need more of.
Yeah.
And that's really where my COVID story began so I'm a mom. I work at American University. I live in Wheaton, Maryland. My daughter is 9. She goes to a Title I elementary school, Highland Elementary, and she's in 3rd grade.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I love her elementary school. It's wonderful. After COVID struck, MCPS closed. We had a little bit of what I called our coronacation, where we were at home together, enjoying our dog. We had a relatively simple, for us, transition to online school because we have room in our house. I did go get a Chromebook from the school so that she could have a computer separate of mine and not have to be on the iPad. But we have internet. We had all of those comforts at home.
Yeah.
At the end of March, once I saw what a logistical challenge it was for our school staff and our administrators to make that really quick turnaround to online school, especially for elementary students, and then coming from a community that's predominantly Spanish speaking for parents, and it's kids that have English as a second language. That's a whole other challenge right there.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Right?
Yeah.
And our school is close to 85% farms, which farms means they qualify for free and reduced meals.
Okay. Okay.
The income guidelines, I'm finding in these conversations, most people don't realize. They realize that the income guidelines are federally mandated. Mm-hmm. But it means that for a family of 4, it's under $50,000 is the cap.
Wow.
To qualify for a reduced price lunch, not even a free lunch.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I know those numbers well because I'm a single mom. I work full time. Living in Montgomery County is not easy. Doing it and paying for childcare and doing summer camps is always a challenge, and that's something every other mom and parent identifies with in the county, no matter what their income is. So when you add on to it, where income is a challenge, I'll just say quickly that about a year ago when I got certified as a yoga teacher, I'm certified as a kids yoga teacher.
Okay.
And teaching kids stressed me out so much that I had to enhance my own personal practice. And I went to training to become certified to teach adults.
Oh, okay.
Last spring, I was at Interfaith Works volunteering with my yoga studio. Okay. And Interfaith Works is off Park Lawn in Rockville. Okay. They're a wonderful organization, and they allow people to come shop for home goods, clothes, supplies. They do job training. They provide childcare so that parents can learn English and get established with talk with social workers, get help on resumes. They serve anybody who lives in Montgomery County. So regardless of where you've come from, how long you've lived here, it doesn't matter. You can go get services from them.
Okay. And
they serve
Interfaith Circle.
Interfaith Works.
Okay. Okay.
I found out from Interfaith Works that they will serve anybody who makes under $90,000 a year.
Wow. Wow.
And that gap struck me because it's almost 50%. Mm-hmm. And that's what drove me to go look. I went to my school. I went to the team at my daughter's school, who is our PCCs, our parent community coordinators, and our PPWs. And those are the MCPS staff that are there to help with parents and community members, help them engage with MCPS. So we have that team. We also have a school-based community health center.
Okay.
So that's where our school nurse is.
Okay.
And there's also a team that runs out of the Department of Health and Human Services. They're a division of Every Mind, who's a contractor for HHS.
Okay.
They run linkages to learning. So we have social workers, counselors, therapists. We have a group of those. I think we have 5 full-time, and they're physically located in the same building as the school administrators.
Okay.
And if you're like me as a parent taking your kids there, you would have no idea that they weren't school staff.
Wow. That's great. That's a whole team of people helping.
A whole team of people, and they serve kids in school and the community. So you don't need to have a child at Highland in order to go talk to them and get resources, get information. They are incredible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell us, I know you're doing a lot of food delivery right now.
Oh yeah, how did I get into the food delivery business I'm doing now with Food for Highland Families?
Yeah, tell us about that.
I reached out to that team and said at the end of March and said, how can the PTA help fund a restaurant night for our families? And I reached out to the Stained Glass Pub. They're in Wheaton, and they do half-price pizzas. They're Wheaton Glenmont area, and they do half-price pizzas on Mondays and Tuesdays. And they were still doing it through COVID.
Okay.
So I'd already reached out to them and said, hey, I've got a kid at a Title I elementary school. If our PTA could fund the pizzas, would you be willing to do it half price?
Yeah.
And they said, yes, absolutely. Let us know. Went to the school like, how do we make this happen? Let's do it. Let's get pizzas for all our kids that are stretched out, all the parents stressed out. Let's get pizzas to everybody at home and just a message of comfort.
Yeah.
We can get through this. We're all in this together. And that didn't go over as well as I had hoped.
No?
Well, there's a lot of red strings that are tied to PTA funding. You can't have gift cards. How do we find out? We can't give the restaurant all those student names and addresses.
Oh, right.
And right, how do you do that in a way that maintains data and privacy? And the bottom line was all that whole team that I had reached out to, they're working overtime just to get them Chromebooks and get them school lunches and get them homework packets. And just to do the bare minimum, this is like another logistical challenge on top of it.
Right.
So I got advice from an incredible person at Linkages to Learning who said, there are so many restaurants and amazing people out there that are doing things. If you can help me continue to search on Facebook, there's this group, Eat Local Montgomery County, right?
Yeah.
There's this group here. So she pointed me in the direction to start looking with her. And I joined that Facebook group and immediately was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is amazing. I saw a post that was done by Medium Rare, which is a steakhouse in Bethesda. They have 3 locations, Bethesda, Cleveland Park, and Arlington. I commented something like, this is amazing. I love having these kind of feel-good stories about how restaurants are going above and beyond to feed people good food.
Yeah, they really are.
Yep. I posted that. That led to, I thanked Mark Bucher for what he was doing. And then I started a new thread that said, I'm sure I'm not the only PTA mom who thinks this is a good idea. Who else is doing it? Let's brainstorm together and let's figure out what we can do. And Mark liked that right away and said, Medium Rare is here to help. How many kids do you have? Direct message me. Here's my cell phone number. And I was like, this is too good to be true.
Yeah.
This is great, but this is also too good to be true. So I Googled him immediately. And then I found out he went to American University.
Oh, wow. So
which I'm an alum of American University, and now I work there full time. I've been there I started as an undergrad in 2002, and I got my degree in 2008, and I've been there full time staff ever since.
Wow. That's
yeah.
amazing.
So
connection just came together.
I said, small world.
Yeah.
We talked on Sunday. You know, I said we have close to 600 students. I don't know who's in crisis, but I know that 85% qualify for free and reduced meals. So I think it's safe to assume everybody's struggling.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I'm sure not all of them are in crisis, and let's start out at 30. And I said, 30 steak dinners, that's 5 or 6 families.
Yeah.
How do you want to do this? One day a week, like one every night of the week, or pick them all up at once? And he said, Becca, I meant 30 a day. And I said, you'll give me 30 free dinners a day? I'll find who needs them. You leave that to me. And we got off the phone and I reached out to some old restaurant friends. So I told you I started at AU in 2002 and I finished in 2008.
Yeah.
In that gap, I did my first 3 years at AU, hell-bent on becoming an astrophysicist.
Okay.
So I went to study physics, and then I did an internship with a solar physicist at Goddard, and I had a great time with the program. I hated the job.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, is right. And then I went to Europe and I studied the economics and politics of the European Union and traveled all around Europe with people, basically a semester off in Europe.
Yeah, nice. That's very nice. Right.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
So I came back and said, what am I doing with my life? Dropped out of school, started working at a restaurant, waiting tables, then became a bartender, and that was with Clyde's.
Okay. Okay.
So I bartended with Clyde's for many years. That's where I actually worked at the location in Chevy Chase.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know where that one is. And they're actually helping you a lot right now with the food, right?
They are.
Families. Okay.
So when I reached back out to them, a woman that I bartended with 10 years ago, I got in touch with her. She had left Clyde's and was at Cafe Deluxe in Bethesda, which closed with little notice right when COVID happened. And she had to lay off her entire staff. And she has been working to get them through. So that means she's been trying to get them benefits and unemployment in DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
Okay.
And been trying to get them any work delivering groceries, helping out elderly that need help setting up their grocery deliveries, or just with technology.
Yeah, just anything.
And I said, can we utilize your team so that we can drive the free dinners from medium rare directly to the families? So that I thought about, Mark and I had talked about making it like a drop site, come to the school, and then going from school to the homes. But if we had PTA volunteers at the school, and then from there, then it's more hands on bags and more chance of contamination.
Yeah.
And if I could get enough money that we could pay people who needed it $20 an hour, then I would rather do that, get the money to the people who need it, and get them safely delivering it, just like Uber Eats, directly to the homes. And then it also gives the families the chance that, we could be Uber Eats delivering.
Right.
It's not a handout. It is a safe meal at home and an experience for you to have with your kids.
Yeah. That's great. That is really great. Now, what other restaurants that you're working with right now that's actually helping you with the community?
Yeah. So it started out with just medium rare, and then it was Clyde's, which it is Clyde's because Clyde's continues to be a family-owned, run establishment. And my good friends that I was waiting tables with, I still have one that works for the company, manages their bookkeeping. So a lot of the company know my ex-husband, because that's how we met. They know our daughter, and we've been frequenters of, now that I've lived in this area, I know Chevy Chase teams and Tower Oaks Lodge teams very well. So their chefs know us personally.
Yeah.
So Clyde has been donating meals to us, same as medium rare. And then the next restaurant partner to come out is K-Town Bistro, who you already talked about.
Yeah.
When I reached out and asked Gonzalo Barba Jr. for help, he said, absolutely, we can help you. What do you need? You tell me. We connected, after we started delivering, it was primarily to families we knew in crisis through my daughter's school. But as word got out, we live our neighborhood is between St. Catherine's and St. Jude's.
Okay.
Two Catholic churches right on Beers Mill.
Okay. Yeah, I know where
and our PTA president, her mother-in-law, goes to St. Jude's, I believe. And she was aware of a cancer support group that's run by the church. And she asked if we could help with their families because they had been strictly quarantining because they have a family member actively in chemo.
Oh, yeah. That's
so
bad. Yeah.
It's been really tough for them. And K-Town said at the beginning, when I said, well, tonight we've got some families that have cancer patients, and then we also have 2 families that have pregnant moms that are in their first trimester. So can you do soup of the day and some bread? And they said, absolutely. Do you want carrot ginger? Do you want tomato bisque? And I said, let me check with mom and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So they'll do softer foods for us. They'll do, they're accommodating any allergies, any food intolerances, anybody who's nauseous. We let them know and they give us what we need.
They stepped right up and just got involved.
Step right up.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So many restaurants right now that they're helping the community out there right now. And I just, just get them out there and see how we can help them,
Yes. So help Aiden's. Aiden's is this little, I think it's little known because I frequent Bethesda often and I didn't know it was there. It's a very small storefront, a pizzeria, but they're all halal and their team is small and mighty and they have been feeding so many first responders.
Wow.
Yes. And it's funny, their owners live in Highland boundaries. So one, her name is Cece. She's a Phenomena mom.
Yeah.
Her daughter is in my daughter's Girl Scout troop, and she will cater events for the school all the time. I thought she was doing it. She was just a professional at-home chef, and that's how she could work these miracles because she's done international night food. I know her because I know her as that mom that's like always got the good food. And her kid and her daughter's classroom always has the best parties. And anytime it's her daughter's birthday, there's going to be about a gazillion cupcakes and plenty to share afterwards. And now I know why. It's because she does bake from her home a lot, but then she also cooks from the restaurant. Okay. And they are very strong community partners. So they have been engaged since the beginning. They're feeding they're feeding hospitals, they're feeding schools, they're feeding their community. And with it, I talked to her on Sunday and said, how many can I send to you today? And she said, well, are you aware that tomorrow's Eid? And I was like, oh, no, wasn't even on my radar. And she's like, so I can do the family. She said, you know me, you tell me who needs to be fed and I'll make sure they're fed. But yeah, it's a lot going on right here today at Aiden's. And I said, I'm going to call Omar. We'll get Los Churros for our families tonight. I'll talk to you on Wednesday and we'll get the vegan meals and anybody who's keeping halal, we'll get the meats for them on Wednesday and Thursday. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I think one of the things is a lot of people are not aware of what's going on out there, with the food and so many people in our area, in our local area. We're not used to that, right?
Right.
We're used to that. We hear about these stories in third world countries and stuff like that. Now it's in our backyard. It really is like right here. And we need to reach out and help these people as much as we can.
Yes.
We can.
Even me, my daughter goes to a Title I school. I was looking for yoga for her when she was in kindergarten and they didn't have it at her school. So I got certified as a kids yoga teacher so I could bring it to her school. And the detail there is that she won't practice with me, but if her friends are doing it, she'll join right along. So I knew that the way to get her to do it would be to teach it. So since she's been in first grade, I've been teaching at Highland. And I also teach at Weller Road Elementary, or Weller Elementary, which is another Title I school just north of us. Okay. So that's how I know their linkages to learning program. They're the ones that hire me as a contractor. So I'm background checked. Mm-hmm. I teach these kids 2 or 3 times in the school year. I do 8 weeks programming, where it's once a week after school. It's no charge to the family. So that's what Linkages does. Linkages to Learning, they operate no or low cost after school programming for kids. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I know the funding side of it, but if I wasn't teaching yoga, I wouldn't realize. And that's what I think in some ways our county does so well. We provide these wraparound services. Mm-hmm. And I say wraparound, there's a lot of different understanding of the word wraparound. A child comes and they have needs at school, and you make sure that you work with that child and their family to make sure their needs are addressed, not while their kid is at school, but in all areas of their life.
Yeah.
So they're set up for success.
That's awesome. That is
But
really.
what happened with COVID
Mhm.
is everything was paralyzed. We're now realizing that the stats look great about domestic violence.
Mhm.
It's not because it's not happening. It's because kids aren't in school, so it's not being reported. It's because nonprofits and community members that can go to homes or kids can get to them, they're frozen.
They're not there, right?
They're not there. And what I have seen, it's been really difficult because I hear a lot of the messaging, I hear a lot of what's publicized, but I'm seeing the people it can't reach.
Yeah.
So our team has gone to multiple homes and apartments
And
where they have young kids that are Violet's age or younger, and those kids have lost their mom.
oh my goodness, really?
Their kids had lost their mom or their dad, or their kids are with their mom or dad now because they lost their grandma who was their caretaker.
Wow.
Immigrant families, the way that you survive in Montgomery County making less than $50,000 a year is you have at least 3 or 4 income earners that live together. So if that's mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, your cousin, your aunt, whoever, the person who rents your basement, the person who rents a room upstairs, that's how you afford to live in a single family home.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. It's great because that's your community. It's bad though when grandma's at risk and grandpa's at risk, or your tia's at risk, and now they are staying at home in a basement and fearful of their lives, and mom and dad have to choose whether they stay at home and stay safe but can't provide for their kids and can't pay their rent or can't pay their mortgage and have to choose between internet or food.
Yeah.
Because their jobs are ones that if they don't go, they're not getting paid. And if they go and they come home, I know parents are on the first floor, their children and their caretaker aunts are on a different floor and they're trying to stay separate, and they have now for months.
Yeah.
So we've been advocating as much as we can to continue doing what we're doing to bring good quality food to their doorsteps, and advocating as much as we can to get every other organization to support us in doing that too. And everybody, we're advocating, yes, but most other organizations that provide food relief, they get it too. So Manna is getting shifts done, and they're doing deliveries, and Nourish Now has mobilized, and Health and Human Services, I'm aware of the work of their Health and Human Services. I'm aware of linkages to learning very well, but also their street outreach network. They've built warehouses to distribute food out of churches, out of the Black Rock Art Center, and they have their team mobilized with trucks and vans, getting stay safe boxes full of food and delivering it to the doorsteps of the people that need it.
Wow. It's incredible what's going on out there right now.
It's a logistical challenge for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's very tough to be in a situation where you actually have to make that decision, whether you go to work because you have a family member that you have to keep safe, right? And it's just, if you don't go to work, you lose that income. You may lose your house and everything.
You lose your health care.
Yeah.
And your loved one that's.
Yeah, good point.
And your loved one that is undergoing chemo right now, it's a double-edged sword because you need the health care and you need to keep them safe. So, or if you're recently in remission and you know just how hard their battle has been to keep them alive, and now you're right, and now you're risking your health care by losing your job. It's horrible. And I keep hearing the messaging, if you need help, call. If you need help, do this. And as somebody, when I've been at my most stressed periods in life, when somebody's asking me if I need help, when it's obvious that I need help, it's very difficult. That's a hard message to take. And I think if it sends, it's always to me been felt as you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
If you don't have the capacity to call, then you're not doing enough to take care of your family. If you didn't fill out your application correctly, then you're not doing enough to feed your child. And it makes the parent responsible for their child's suffering.
Yeah.
And that is the worst. That's why I don't want to send that message to any of my neighbors or friends. And that's why we've done what we've done. I wouldn't be able to do what I've done without the history I have in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
And I've also had an American University student who was an MCPS alum. He went to BCC. When he heard about what Mark and I were doing, he said, technology can help you. And he built us an app.
Oh.
So he built an app that's basically a bootstrap together Uber Eats, because what it allows us to do is I upload addresses, I optimize the routes, and then I send a link to our delivery drivers. So the drivers get a link, they hit a button, it opens Waze, and it tells them how to get to the first house.
Oh, wow.
And they click a button that says food delivered. These are no contact deliveries. So they drop them off at the front door. They'll drop them off. If it's an open air apartment, they'll drop them off on the doorstep of the apartment. If it's a high-rise apartment, then we've let the family know they need to be in the lobby available, because they'll just leave it outside on a bench. So they drop it wherever they're going, and then they hit a button that says delivery confirmed. And what Sam has done on the back end, we give him the messaging in English and in Spanish. So when the driver leaves, picks up the food at the restaurant, and they hit the button like ready to start route, it sends a text message in English and in Spanish to everybody on the delivery route saying your meals are on the way. They'll be there in the next 15 to 45 minutes.
Wow.
And then when they hit confirm delivery, same thing, it sends a message bilingual that said your meals have been delivered. Your community is here to support you. Thank you so much for staying safe. Bon appetit, or buen provecho.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great system. That is really a great system. So how many families are you actually helping right now, and what days are you doing this?
So yeah, we're lucky that we're just a hashtag and a GoFundMe, because we can be pretty flexible and change on the fly. So now that we are 2 months, almost 2 months into doing this, that's crazy. I'm looking at the date, like it's May 27th. We started on April 7th. So we utilized a Google form. So it's a Google form that linkages to learning, which operates out of Violet School. That's how it started with just my daughter's school. They told us about families in crisis. Now we're also partnered with Identity. So Identity caseworkers will refer clients to us. The church program directors, they refer clients to us. And then neighbors will recommend a neighbor, or they'll call us and say, I have somebody else who needs it. So we get a Google form that basically just asks their address, food allergies, number of people, any food intolerances, and we deliver Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. So those days when somebody's going to be home between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. And any specifics about how to deliver, if it's a high-rise apartment, that kind of thing, or deliver to the basement door or the side porch, those kinds of things.
Special instructions.
Exactly. So that's what we deliver those 4 days. Our list has grown to about 160 families. Now those families, a lot of families have stabilized and we're no longer delivering.
Oh, well, that's good. That's on a positive note, right?
That's on a positive note, yes. That doesn't mean that there's 160 families. All of our families are in 20902, 20904, and 20906. That is a good thing, because that means at some point they were sick or food insecure, and now they've been met with community resources that would be appreciative of a meal, I'm sure, but they aren't in need or in crisis at the moment. But we are hearing of new families in crisis all the time. That's why we're continuing to do what we do. And when when it's social workers that are referring people to us, they also give us a frequency. So, COVID positive or sick or ill, just need it once or twice to get through a rough patch.
Okay.
Up through and including family is grieving a severe loss and needs this as much as possible, at least for the short term. And then that's what the most difficult part of what I do is that right now we haven't been able to build up the capacity of the app because it's an American university student who, was facing finals in April and now is preparing for his summer internship. So we know the tech is capable of doing through an algorithm, doing it. But at this point, it's still me with an Excel spreadsheet and a pivot table trying to figure out, okay, between all of those competing needs. I do that daily. When I say I'm doing dinner service prep, I'm taking that pivot table and then I'm looking at the number of restaurants we have, the amount of food that they can push out, and the number of drivers we have available. And I'm doing that puzzle of how those pieces fit together, who can pick up from which restaurant, and which families are in need of it the most, and what's the easiest route to get the food there the fastest while it's still hot and fresh.
Wow. So if there's a technology person out there that can help.
I know you're there.
You're out there. We've
applied for grants with Twilio and Sam has been, not only has Sam done our app design, Sam has submitted for grant applications because we know the big tech is out there wanting to do good things. It's just a matter of them finding us.
Right.
We're a small Wheaton team here, right?
I may have a contact for you. I may have a contact.
You're wonderful, Pam.
Yeah, I may have a contact for you. I will reach out to him and
so many people have, I know that Sam's gotten emails. I've gotten emails. Give me the specifics about how your app is working and let us see how we can help you. And what you're doing, what our restaurants are doing, they're not just doing it for me. They're doing it for Food It Forward. They're doing it for Mana. Omar Lazo, the owner of Los Choros, he's buying in bulk from his distributor and he's taking them to those churches where Health and Human Services is mobilizing. So he's getting rice and beans and masa by the hundreds of pounds. And then he's coming to me and he's going to HHS and he's saying, who needs it? And can you get it to them? Can I just bring it to you and then you can get it to them? Oh, I know I'm not alone.
Yeah.
And I know I'm with people that are a lot mightier than just one person, with organizations. And I'm just doing my part to make sure that while they're catching the thousands, the hundreds of people, and especially their kids, aren't falling through the gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing it with all love and gratitude and
you really are.
As much yoga as we possibly can.
I mean, you're doing an awesome job. And do you need more volunteers?
Thank you. At this point, we don't need volunteers. What I would love volunteers to do is spread the word.
Okay.
Spread the word about things like that. Nobody realizes that gap exists because they see the amount of funding that comes through for farms kids and they think that's epic. Farms kids should be great. And then it's like, wait. If you look at, MCPS has 166,000 kids and 30% of them qualify for free and reduced meals.
Wow.
And those kids are used to getting breakfast, lunch, and a snack at school. And at most Title I schools, Mana's already been there before COVID.
Yeah.
We have a food pantry that operates out of our school, and we have resources that come in every week with Stay Safe packs, and those resources go home with the families. The problem is that it's still demanding that schools be open. Maybe they're closed, but the solutions of yesterday are still assuming that people can get to the school, not that they need to stay home. And we know more and more that anybody who has to get on a metro bus with their kids in order to go grocery shopping, they're not in a good place.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
Do it, yeah. No.
Right. And those parents, they're struggling with everything the rest of us are. Online schooling, toddlers, babies that need formula, wipes, and diapers, and their needs don't stop just because the world has imploded,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So those parents are under exponentially more stress than the ones of us that can stay home. So stay home, stay safe.
Yeah.
I've had people volunteer to drive meals, and it's beautiful, but
Mhm.
I will always call the people who need the $20 an hour
Mhm.
first. And while there's people that don't qualify for unemployment or who can't get it yet,
Yeah.
I'm always going to call them and have them deliver and pay them $20 an hour to do that for as long as I can.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's good.
So you can spread the word. You can also support NAMI.
Okay.
I'm
Right.
partnered with NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness. I myself have taken advantage of NAMI's free training. I've been a NAMI member for a while of the national organization,
Mhm.
and I just got involved with the Montgomery County chapter.
Okay. So tell us what NAMI is.
NAMI is a grassroots organization that is dedicated to, they fight on so many levels in order to end the stigma around mental health disorders, to enable a better life for people that live with a debilitating mental health disorder, and
Okay.
to educate the general public about what that life is like and what it's like to get services that you need. So that's a fight that needs to be fought at every level.
Yeah.
What the training that I did specifically was about policy changes that are specifically to target where there's still gaps. So to make sure health insurance coverage
Mhm.
is equal across the board, whether you have a debilitating physical illness or a
Yeah.
debilitating mental illness, that you have it's an equitable distribution so that you can get the same quality health care, whether it's for your mind or for your physical body,
Got it.
which doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not even in Maryland.
Really.
So, yes.
Wow.
So I'm walking. There's a virtual walk. May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I have a team that's registered for a virtual walk in May. So it's coming, the virtual walk is May 30th.
Okay.
And our team is also walking with Montgomery County on September 12th.
Okay.
So the September 12th walk, I believe, will be in Annapolis, and that's when we have our chance to show our District 18 legislators we're coming out to support you and
Yeah.
support the policy changes you've been advocating for on our behalf. And I think emotional health should be like brushing your teeth and putting a Band-Aid on your cut. We teach our kids to do it from when they're 2.
Mhm.
The fact that we don't have the awareness yet how to teach them to make space for their emotions
Yeah.
and how to verbalize their emotions. It's something, if we all started when we were 2, it would be second nature by the time we're adults and hitting our biggest life struggles.
Yeah. And there's a stigma around that, right? As far as adults is concerned, there's a huge stigma around that.
Huge stigma.
Yeah.
That's why we have to have, depression is one of the leading pandemics in this country, and yet it's still not safe to talk about at work for fear you will be discriminated against
Yeah.
and not be allowed to use sick leave, or that's why it's qualified as a disability, and that you cannot, to try to fight back against that stigmatization.
Yeah.
But the more and more I hear stigmatize, the more and more I really think that that's a word that we use to cover all kinds of discrimination.
Yeah. That's
That
true. That's very true.
because it still exists. Yeah.
Wow. You're
There's
a wealth of information, and gosh, you're doing so much out there. It's like, I don't know how you're just doing it all by yourself. You need so many other people, right?
I'm not.
You're not.
That's the beautiful thing. I'm not alone. I'm a yoga teacher that's worked with these linkages team. So I am reinforced by my yoga teachers, my yoga community, by my social workers, which I know now more than ever, I was not meant to be a social worker. I
Yeah.
can't do what they do. I can't take the emotional toll. It's been weighing on me for 2 months. And I tell them every day, I can't wait for you to go back to just doing your day job, and I can just go back to teaching yoga,
Yeah.
because it's hard.
It's tough. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the easy thing is to turn away. The easy thing is to say, we live in Montgomery County. It's not a third world country. It's not happening. And I'm sure they're fine.
Yeah. But it is happening.
But it is happening. It's happening in Wheaton, Silver Spring, and it's happening everywhere. It's not just in Montgomery County. It's happening in PG County. It's happening in DC.
Yeah.
It's happening in Maryland, and it's happening in our country.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we have a worldwide pandemic right now. Yeah. The only thing,
and hunger and homelessness existed in Montgomery County before COVID.
Mhm.
My world was teaching yoga at my daughter's school, going to AU and coming home, and I didn't see it. And now I've seen it.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, and I know Mark has seen it. Mark is the owner of Medium Rare. I know Clyde's has seen it. I know K-Town has, all of those partners. That's why I'm not alone. They've seen it. And
Mhm.
that's why we're all doing what we're doing.
Mhm.
And MCPS already knew it. Department of Health and Human Services already knew it. And what they still have yet to see, I think, they're realizing how many of us community partners are more engaged now in a level we never have been before.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes
Right?
something like this to just actually open, people's eyes to see what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. Yeah. And a lot of people are not aware of it in Montgomery County, that was the case before. There are actually homeless people in Montgomery County. People just
Mm-hmm.
don't know these things. And now more.
Check out the MCPS high school seniors.
Yeah.
That this year, part of their project, I got connected with Tom Hucker's staff around the time when they were doing a town hall that featured these high school seniors. And I was like, Sam is the one who taught me. He's been designing apps for business ventures since he
Mhm.
was in middle school. He did this all throughout high school. And then I saw these other high school seniors, now current seniors, that did a project on, it's called Homeless, Not Helpless. And it was talking about Montgomery County homeless, where that problem is and how we can address it. Mind blown. Like,
Wow.
look to our kids. They know it. They've been living it.
Yeah.
And not only have they been living it, they've already been dreaming about the solutions. They just need more adults in power to recognize their views as legitimate and give the resources to make their solutions a reality.
Better. Yeah.
Mm.
Goodness. Wow.
They're the ones who know they know how difficult it is to go through school and face the challenges that exist in Wheaton, Silver Spring, Tacoma Park specifically.
Yeah.
They've been very active in the conversations about the boundary analysis study, but I don't know that all the adults that have been involved, I don't know how much weight we've been giving the opinions of the kids.
Right. Yeah.
I don't even know all the kids' solutions. I just know that since COVID, I've spent a lot of time with my 9-year-old,
Mhm.
and she's brilliant. And because she's still innocent
Yeah.
and loving, and she wants to help. And she was the kid who would veg on the couch and be in front of an iPad before. And now after Zooming for school, and I say, you want to Zoom with friends? And she's like, ugh, can I please go ride my bike?
Yeah. She wants to go outside.
Sure, she wants to go outside. She wants to be with our dog. She wants that naturally, not because I've been pushing her for that,
Yeah.
but because in her COVID world where she doesn't get outside as much, she doesn't process it like that. But what she needs right now is sunshine and freedom.
Yeah.
And she knows how to ask for that.
Yeah.
And she also expects that she's going to get it. She hasn't lived in a world that tells her, she still has a mom that has to remind her, wash your hands, put on your mask. You need your mask before you get out of the car to go into here. Or she's now said to me, I'm just going to stop asking if it's open because I'm tired of hearing you tell me you don't know when. That was after the pool. Like, it was so hot. And she's like, can we go to the pool? And I said, sorry, honey.
Yeah.
Corona. I don't know when the pool's going to be open.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know for those of us that have 9-year-olds, yeah.
The beaches are open though, right?
Beaches are open. I'm not sure how comfortable I am taking her to a beach yet. I think I'm more like, let's let everybody else learn the hard way, and then we'll go on the next round once everybody figures out how to do it safely. Except for, the food delivery business.
Yeah.
All our people, we're masking up. And when we hear of somebody, we have formed partnerships with these people so that now when somebody tells us they're COVID positive, we notify Health and Human Services, their Sun team, or we notify MCPS that there's kids in a household that have undergone some terrible life event. You know, we're getting them a restaurant meal,
Yeah.
but we know what partners in the community to engage so that they get all of the other needs met.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
So we're not alone.
You're not alone. You're not
Mm-hmm.
alone. You're doing some awesome work. So
Thank you
share
so much.
with us, if you will, please. Do you want to share contact information? Let's say there's a family out there that's watching you and they're in a situation where they actually need help. They need food.
Yes.
You know, they're in that situation.
Yes.
How do they get a hold of you?
So that's a great question. Email is best, foodforhighlandfamilies@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook page, so you can reach out to us and direct message us via Facebook. Writing is easier because we have people like me that I learned my Spanish working in a restaurant. So it's conversational at best.
Okay.
And then our volunteers that are bilingual, then they can reach out and call you. So if you're, there's places where you can say, por favor en español, and then we'll have a volunteer who speaks Spanish reach out to you. And if somebody like me can email you back, my typing with Google Translator is much better Spanish than if you try to call me and talk to me on the phone.
Okay.
So email or Facebook are the best ways to reach out to us. Same thing if you have a neighbor that you're concerned about.
Okay.
You can let us know.
Okay, so share that email again, please, because you kind of broke up a little bit.
Oh, it's food for the number 4.
Okay.
Highland Families.
Okay.
@gmail.com.
Okay. Okay, great. Any other information you'd like to share with us?
Support NAMI because NAMI is supporting us. Okay. So just as all of our community partners, all of our restaurants, it goes both ways. You know, we support them. We try to pick up when it's outside of their busy times. We tell them, give us a good protein, as many veggies and a starch as you can. Other than that, we're not picky. We just want good quality, nourishing food. So next time you dine out, order from Aiden's.
Okay.
Order from Clyde's.
Okay.
Know that they're good chefs, good teams. That's who you're going to be supporting.